welcome to another episode of LawFlip. It's Pura Vida time. We're in Costa Rica. We talk all things Costa Rica. I'm joined by my producer, Arian, the kid, the legend, Tabibian. Today, we're going to discuss internet meth, ghost guns. What else are we going to discuss? The opioid crisis, Gilbert Gottfried, Burger King, Holocaust Denial, critical race theory, and the no-fly list, otherwise known as the Karen list. And otherwise, I want you to subscribe to our YouTube, our Instagram, our whatever the hell you need to subscribe to. Just do it so that I can stop getting harassed by people to say I need to give this message to you to do more. Okay? You subscribe. I'm happy. People stop bothering me. Okay? It's going to be a great show. Let's go.
LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down. LawFlip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Benjy?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm in a place called Costa Rica, and it's wonderful here. It's great not to be home.
Where are you staying in Costa Rica?
I'm staying in a place called La Fortuna. It's unbelievably gorgeous and incredible, and never want to come home.
Makes sense.
What do you say to that?
Stay there and don't ever come back.
You ever been?
I have not. My brother actually went recently. My brother was actually there a couple months ago, but I have not been, no.
Yeah, so I was supposed to start a trial this coming Monday, and I was in trial prep mode. And it got continued. So we had basically that week was like going to be all trial all the time. And I said, you know what? Let's go do something crazy. And honestly, it's like really one of the best places in the world. Incredibly nice people. Very clean. Like if you compare Los Angeles to Costa Rica, it's just so much more clean. The public bathrooms are like beautiful. The small mom and pop restaurants, it's just so clean and nice. And the people here are incredible. And we got hooked up with this guy, Alex, who's basically just become through friends. I connected with this guy, and he's been unbelievable. He's like this former model / videographer / incredible human being that's basically taken us to all the coolest places, hot springs late at night, like waterfalls you could swim in, like zip lining, which is insane. Just so many cool things.
So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And it's like, I have a really hard time actually doing things that are strictly for pure joy or relaxation. It's like usually has to have some sort of like work angle to it. And I'm working on that in therapy and just like self-care and all that stuff. And it's just nice to just really embody taking some time off and enjoying myself.
I have a question for you. So
yeah,
as we've set up last week, we know that Wednesdays is our therapy days. Are you going to do therapy after this call, or did you cancel it for the week?
It's a good question. How did I prioritize here? I'm saying that, and then I prioritized filming this episode over therapy. This makes no sense. Okay. Anyway, it's been great here, and I have no excuse for missing therapy this week, and I'm probably going to pay for it. So we're doing this by Zoom. Right? Were you on Zoom parties in the last 2 years during COVID?
Yeah, I remember. It's funny because now is April, obviously. Last month was officially 2 years since the panorama, and I remember those first couple of weeks.
Why do you say that?
Passover.
Wait, why do you say that? Is that because it gets blocked on social media or something?
No, just me and my friends would always just come up with different words for pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So just like panorama, pizzeria, whatever, just like anything but pandemic. Anyways,
got it.
Last month, 2 years ago was Passover. I think it was like March or April, or it was like late March, early April. So the Snapchat memories were coming back of all of us doing Passover over Zoom. That was actually really, really interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Got it. So did you know that people, like instead of like regular Zoom parties for Passover, that people are now or have been using Zoom to do like meth parties?
Like crack house over Zoom?
Yeah. So a review of online communities conducted by NBC News found Zoom rooms with hundreds of people congregating to use meth. Reddit groups where people frequently post pictures and videos of themselves using meth and seek meth connections. Like basically there's this whole online community of people that literally sit there for days, you know, because meth basically has that aspect of it where you stay up for days. And then it's not like other drugs where you like sort of isolate or you want to isolate. It actually has like a social and sexual connection to it where like you really are seeking connection. So people found it, have been finding it in these like online forums, and they sit there for days on end. Light comes sunrise, sunset, they're sitting there all day. And the question is like, what, if anything, does Zoom and these social media companies, like what's their role in addressing this topic? What is it, Arian?
Dude, I don't know. Well, first of all, here's my question. How did NBC News, I don't know if you know this, how did NBC News figure all of this out?
I don't know, because like every day I find that I find out more human behavior that I didn't know existed. Like I did not know that this was, I know that there's crazy addiction problems, but like I didn't know that this was a thing. And so I think they had probably people reporting it to them. I'm sure family or friends. This is such a common thing, I guess, that it's well known to everybody other than you and me.
I don't know. Also, like anytime we start talking about like cracking down on drug use, like my fear is so much that we're trying again to criminalize it, which is like so wrong. So like for sure, these companies need to do something to manage what's going on their platforms. But like again, like it's a slippery slope.
And I don't even know that there's an argument. Like, there's no debate that people like. I don't know that cracking down on it is going to crack down on meth use. So like in reality, it's kind of like when your parents are like, okay, if you're going to do drugs, do it in my house. Like kind of like if you're going to do meth, it's probably safer to do it at home on Zoom than it is to do in the streets. I don't know. So I don't think that Zoom or Facebook or anybody cracking down on like people being in meth rooms is going to change people, you know, from using less meth. So, you know, they probably have to do something about it, but I don't know that it's going to do anything. But what do you think? Do you think, Arian, we should be able to make our own DIY guns?
I do. In fact, I think you should be allowed to make your own weapons. I know you didn't expect me to say that, did you?
I did not. I did not expect that at all.
Okay, so let me explain. I think absolutely, if you want to buy a kit and buy a gun and build a gun, do it. Why not? You should go through the same level of background checks that you do whenever you go and purchase a gun. And that gun should have a serial number the same way pre-built guns do. There you go.
Right. And that's what Biden, Joe Biden wants to do, is he wants us either not to be able to make them, or if we're going to make them, that you got to have the same sort of standards, procedures that you do with any other gun, which begs the question of like, how effective have the regular gun control or, management
not at
procedures
all.
been? I feel depressed about this subject. Honestly, it's like after Sandy Hook, you thought that there was going to be, if there was ever going to be a time that there was going to be some sort of gun control or, balancing of gun control versus gun rights, then it was going to happen then. I just don't see it happening. I don't see any sort of gun control happening in any meaningful way because it's so polarized. Not one Republican will ever vote for it. And then the moderate Democrats won't let it happen. So, and then Republicans are going to take control likely in 2022 in the fall. So I just don't see, or at least take control of the House and Senate, or at least one of them. And I just don't see any meaningful gun measures taking place anytime soon. But
yeah,
this is kind of crazy.
Not.
Again, another story about that I didn't really, I've kind of sort of seen or heard stories about DIY guns, but I haven't really thought about those ramifications. I don't see like even if you enforce some sort of rule, I don't see how you actually, or you put some sort of measure in place. I don't see how you enforce it.
Right. I mean, you
like,
said it
you
yourself.
have a DIY.
You said it yourself. Like, it's just never going to happen. I mean, look at the shooting in New York. I didn't hear a single person even bring up gun control. I was like all over Twitter, all over everything. Nobody even brought it up because everybody's given up on the entire idea of meaningful legislation being passed in the US. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. It's crazy. So we were just talking before about like sort of meth. How do you feel about the opioid crisis? Like from you're 21 years old, like, has it hit close to home?
You know, thankfully not. For sure, we're like conscious of it in my household. Like if somebody gets injured, like we've all gotten opioid prescriptions, and we've never filled out any of them. We've never gotten them things because it's just dangerous. It's so easy to get addictive. I know that I myself have such an addictive personality. If I get into something, whether that be like food or doing something or an activity or whatever, like I dive into it. And so I know that like if I were to be put on a prescription drug like that, I think it wouldn't be out of the question to see myself get hooked. So that's why like we 100%. Just avoid it completely in our household because we just don't want to even enter that 100%. Realm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I mean, I've been able to sort of like address one, you know, not addiction, but one, what do they used to call it? Let's just say like, you know, challenging behavior at a time, like over the past like 20 years, like I've had like, you know, one step at a time. Like food is definitely the hardest one, but like I always said to myself, like, I'm not going to take any of that opioid stuff. First of all, it generally makes you tired, and I don't like feeling tired. That's my experience with that stuff. And also just same thing.
I love how you're outing yourself. First we were talking about meth. You were explaining how like meth feels. Now you're talking about opioids, explaining how opioids feel.
Wait, dude. I've never done meth. I swear to God, I've never done meth. Not that there's anything. No, there is. but I've never done meth. But anyway, this whole opioid issue, it's obviously a big stain on big pharma. It's killed so many people.
And the Sackler family just walks away. Just walks away. Oh, those lawsuits, man. Well, could you actually explain? Here's something. I would love for you if you could just walk us through very quickly, very briefly, how they got out of any jail time, paying any money out of their own pockets, and like they were basically completely removed from everything that happened.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I'm not an expert on the subject. Second of all, I don't think that they've avoided all financial responsibility. Third of all, I think that they've made so much money that to the extent that they have had any financial repercussions, it's a drop in the bucket. As to why they haven't been jailed or anything like that, you know, you can say whatever you want, but extremely powerful, rich families avoid jail, whether it be for the financial crisis, whether it be for the pharmaceutical crisis or any other major thing. You don't see major wealthy people avoid any sort of, you know, or have any sort of criminal exposure on a massive level. You'll have one person picked off here or there, but usually it's not even for the main thing that you want them to get caught for. It's for like, you know, some sort of tax issue that comes up as a result of the investigation into something else. So there's no great excuse for it. But this story that came out is the Walgreens is about to go to trial in Florida, basically taking the position that, according to the plaintiffs or the state officials were bringing the case, Walgreens chain prioritized profits over health by improperly dispensing millions of powerful painkillers that caused tens of thousands of deaths. Walgreens was the last line of defense, the state prosecutor said, and they failed to investigate suspicious prescriptions. So, and then the Walmart attorney said they had nothing to do with any of that. The drug makers caused this epidemic by misrepresenting the risks and benefits to pharmacies. So, like what's happening here is
they're just throwing the buck.
Yeah, and like particularly in Florida, like that's a hard hit place. So many people died. And what happened, like what happens is there's so many different ways to have, prescription fraud, right? People that are addicted will do anything to get their hands on pills. So they'll go to shady doctors. They'll do fraudulent prescriptions. They will take family members' prescriptions. They'll do all sorts of stuff to get their hands on the drugs.
Right.
And what the state officials are saying is like that the Walgreens specifically and others basically turned a blind eye. Like they wanted to make profits over just like really scrutinizing the prescriptions that would come to their pharmacy. So
which isn't sure at all hard to believe.
No, it's not. It's not. But like at the same time, like it's hard, right? Because you have prescriptions from doctors. You're running a business. You have these overworked pharmacists and pharmacist assistants. Like they don't, it's hard to decipher. But like somebody comes in there, they come in there 5 times over a period of 5 days. It's like, okay, there's a problem. Or there's one doctor that is like prescribing 10 times more than every other doctor in the area. Like that should be a red flag.
Right.
So
yeah, I actually know a handful of doctors that just refuse to prescribe opioids. They're like, go see a specialist.
Yeah. And that's probably what it should be. But yeah, that should probably be a red flag if it's not coming from a specialist instead, like just like a general doctor. I don't know. It's a mess. On to more sad news, unfortunately. Did you hear that Gilbert Gottfried, the legendary comic Gilbert Gottfried, passed away?
Yeah. So sad. So sad. I remember, so I didn't know exactly who he was, so I clicked on that article, started reading through. I didn't know he was in The Lion King. He was the parrot in The Lion King.
That was like, I think how I first became aware of him. And then he was a recurring guest on Howard Stern's show. And honestly, one of the funniest human beings to ever live. I just saw the clip of him. If anybody hasn't seen it, if you check out the clip of him getting busted by Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop 2 for like too many speeding tickets, it is one of the funniest 2 minutes ever. It is hilarious. You have to watch it. Super sad. He was also in Look Who's Talking Part 2, The Aristocrats, and other films, and just a sad story. And God bless him. He gave me so many laughs. So what's not funny is Burger King is being accused of false advertising in a lawsuit alleging Whoppers are too small. So I know you can't have Whoppers, Arian.
Nope.
You're kosher.
I keep kosher, sir.
Yes, you do. We all keep kosher to a certain degree. Everybody, I view kosher, people who like are Jewish, they're on a spectrum. It's just like everything else. It's like sexuality. It's like all sorts of stuff. It's like on a spectrum. You're either like super kosher, very not kosher at all. You're somewhere in the middle. Right. You don't eat meat and meat milk together.
And particularly this week coming up, we got Passover coming up. So those of us who do keep kosher have to go even harder core this upcoming week. So
100%
coming up for us.
So someone in Florida sued Burger King because their Whoppers are not as big as they claim them to be. And this is like what we talked about with Doritos case, where these
birds are really they're really all over you today, aren't you? Aren't they?
Yeah. No, but it really is crazy that like these lawsuits actually work sometimes. Like Chipotle had to settle a case for like $5 million. Like when you first see the lawsuit, you see the headline, it seems ridiculous. And this is just to a broader point of lawsuits in general. People are so skeptical of litigation and lawsuits, but like most of the time it's not frivolous. Most of the time people aren't going to like endure going through miserable litigation in order to achieve a frivolous thing. And by the way, when it's frivolous, it's not like there's not defense attorneys who get paid to shut down frivolous lawsuits.
Right.
But in this situation, look, is this really affecting a large group of people? Probably not. But like they probably are exaggerating the size of the Whopper in the commercials. I don't know. We'll follow this one. But the key is that they're saying that Burger King is misleading customers by portraying its food as being larger compared with what it actually serves its customers. Have you ever experienced that where like you get to a restaurant and
absolutely.
whatever they advertise?
Particularly those bougie places that are like this is a salad for two, and then it comes out and it's like half a piece of like an iceberg lettuce, and it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah. Serving sizes are always tough. Like,
but also here's another thing. Me and you are going to be bitching about serving sizes for the rest of our lives because we're fat asses. So it's a little different for us.
That's true. We're volume guys. Generally I like to see. I don't like to see people taking away volume out of my meal. Okay, so do you think saying disgusting things should be outlawed?
Some things are so disgusting, so repulsive, hurt so many people that absolutely they should be outlawed.
Like what?
First of all, like hate crimes, right? So crimes motivated by racist behavior, absolutely.
But
fuck with hate crimes.
And
a tangent off of that is this next story, where Canada is basically making it illegal to deny the Holocaust, and I am so with it.
Yeah, I am generally with it. It's a very confusing story to sort of compare to our next story, which is like the whole like critical race theory stuff. But sticking with this for a second, the Holocaust denial is set to be outlawed in Canada in a further effort to stamp out rising anti-Semitism. The federal government is set to make it a criminal offense to make a statement denying the Holocaust took place or condoning or downplaying the killing of Jews by the Nazi regime, except in a private conversation. And Jewish Canadians comprise 1% of the Canadian population, yet I think they are the target of 62% of all religiously motivated hate crimes.
That's
and
fucking insane. That is
really
fucking insane.
So can you think of any reason why this legislation shouldn't move forward everywhere?
Nope. Not even go there. Nope. It should be passed globally.
You just have to think about like what other ramifications, this means. So like if you can outlaw discussion of Holocaust, which I tend to agree with because I can't see it's so vile, it's so reprehensible to deny the Holocaust that I can't imagine it being acceptable to talk about it in public. I get they carved out an exception for you to have private conversation and be a sicko piece of garbage in private, but like I wonder what, if any, effects that has on other types of speech, and whether people will use this as an example to criminalize any other sort of discussion.
Right. And it's an understandable point, right? Like because you don't want to create a precedence of cracking down on free speech, and I totally agree with that caution. I think though that this is one of those things that is simple enough and black and white enough where it could be like, hey man, like maybe we shouldn't be saying these things, Right. Am I understanding it there?
And the other argument is that the common argument is that when you shut down speech about something like Holocaust denial, you then basically, create a seedier underbelly so that, you right now, who the anti-Semites and racist people are. But if you crack down so much that you're not allowed to say anything, like they're going to be living among you and you don't know who's going to be a Jew hater.
Right. Like the Trumpies in the 2016 that everybody was like, no, I'm not going to vote for Trump. And then the guy wins. Nuts.
Right. Okay. So then sort of similar topic, but Arian, were you taught critical race theory in primary or in elementary or high school?
I'm going to be so honest with you. If you asked me right now, define critical race theory, I couldn't do it. I honestly couldn't do it. Now, from my understanding, did I get an education about race and things like that and the effects of white people on minorities? Yeah, I went to a Beverly Hills Unified School District in California. Like, my school was liberal as fuck, and they taught me so much. And so like, yeah, I think my education did get the context that it needed to understand society in America, at least to a secondary school level. Absolutely.
But why is it liberal to like teach history that slavery existed? Why
I'll
is
tell
that
you
liberal?
because most this is so fucked, but I think at least most of these conservatives are super duper racist, and they hate black people and they hate minorities, and talking about them and giving them any light of day at all goes against everything they stand for. So they're going to do everything possible to stomp down on black people and minorities.
Like, I wasn't taught that white people are horrible, and like I was taught that slavery happened, and I just don't, like, I know that there's super liberal woke people saying all sorts of crazy stuff, but like, this just goes to this concept that like, I think this is like a fantasy that or it's maybe like a pretext. They know that this isn't really happening to the degree they're saying it, but they're using it as a way to basically, they don't want to have their kids taught slavery and just some basic stuff about how white
nor
people
the
were bad to
Holocaust,
black people.
nor the Holocaust,
or the Holocaust. But the best part is like the Holocaust story that we did was a government saying we refuse to condone people engaging in hate speech. That was what happened in Canada.
Right.
What critical race theory and the Ron DeSantis's of the world are trying to do is deny the truth by restricting your ability to speak about factual events.
Right.
It's literally like the most upside down version of it. So, but what happened is in Kentucky, lawmakers wanted to avoid. They came up with one of those bills that are similar to the anti-critical race theory bills, and then it actually got to the governor's desk, and he vetoed it. And he basically said, like, these discussions are happening. Our children are having these discussions with or without adults and children. Prescribing a rigid approach to what must be taught in those discussions will lessen, if not erase them. So, you know, it's a very, like, actual critical race theory is a very complex subject that is mostly taught in college and law schools. And those that are against this topic, like being taught, just don't want their children to know that their ancestors were horrible human beings. A lot of them were.
Right.
So,
because like, there are still a lot of Americans whose great grandparents were slave owners, and there are a lot of Americans whose great grandparents were slaves, grandparents even were slaves. Like, it's still something that exists, you know?
And the slave owner, like, ancestors, like, not only do they not want to accept it, they don't want to accept that they had an upper hand in life. That
right. That a lot of their success and a lot of their stature in society today comes from the hard work and the backs of slaves 100 years ago. Yep.
But it was a great move by the governor by, you know, sort of vetoing it, but it may be overridden anyway. So, last story, Arian, have you ever been on a plane where there's a violent or crazy or unruly passenger?
You know, I was on a plane recently, and there was like a Karen on board who's just like bitching a little bit to the flight attendants. But no, I've never had somebody like start a fight where they need to get duct taped down to the chair. No.
Well, anybody who does that might soon end up on a permanent no-fly list. So, U.S. lawmakers are proposing a new bill that would place violent flight passengers on a lifetime commercial no-flight list managed by the Transportation Security Administration, otherwise known as the TSA. It aims to improve air travel safety, increase traveler protections, reduce the number of in-flight violent incidents, and hold unruly passengers accountable. Like, it's almost without fail, any time that I've seen one of these incidents, it's a Karen. It's like it's a privileged person on a flight bitching about something that everybody else has to deal with, but for some reason they're the special Karen. And I don't know, it's tough because I have had some psychotic moments, right? Like, throughout our life, like, you have these breakdowns where you might do something really stupid or act really crazy. So like in one sense, I want the backup of like being able to give it a free pass if I have one of those moments.
Right.
But on the other hand, like we're all like, I think I'm going to make it through life without having a psychotic breakdown on a plane.
Right.
Have you ever like gotten close to it though? Because like, you know, they do put you like airlines do put you in positions where you could flip out and go crazy.
No. Honestly,
No.
like airport travel, like air travel isn't really the thing that bothers me. Like I don't get into that many things myself, like just in public. I think the thing that really bothers me is when I watch videos of like people being pulled over and like the cops being dicks. That's the stuff that really gets me fuming, but otherwise not really. No.
Yeah. Oh, so you like the Karens on the planes?
Not that I like them. It's that I'm like, all right, dude, just sit your ass down. Like, I don't really care for it. Like, I'm just living my life. You know what I mean? And they're just in it, you know?
Fair enough. Okay. Moving on to legal tip.
Workplace sexual harassment remains far too much of a problem in our society. It should not be a problem. If you are a victim of workplace sexual harassment and you still work for the employer where it happened, you should complain in writing about it because your employer has a duty to provide corrective action and not to retaliate against you for complaining.
Since unions are now a hot topic, let's discuss how law on unions apply in California. So if you're a member of a union, your employer cannot fire or discriminate against you. It's illegal for them to shut down their business because you're unionized. They can't say, oh, we're not going to run this business anymore because you guys are unionized. So if you have any sort of discrimination against you in the workplace because you're in a union or you're discussing union issues, you may have a claim. Contact us at 1-833-LawFlip. We're Smith Law. We're a personal injury, employment, and class action law firm. Contact us anytime. Arian, it was wonderful discussing this with you. I hope you have an incredible rest of the day. If anybody has any questions whatsoever, you contact us at 1-833-LawFlip. You can DM us, subscribe. Also, if you're a lawyer or you know any lawyers, they have to be on our lawyer referral app. It's called LawFlip, the app. It's www.lawflip.com. Hit us up, contact us, let us know. If you have any thoughts, questions whatsoever, we will see you next time, LawFlip. Bam! Pura Vida.